So first tonight, that heartfelt message of support from one of our region's biggest Hollywood stars, Daniel Craig, to three fathers raising awareness of suicide.
As we've reported, the three Dads Walking have reached the northwest on their 600-mile trek across the UK and Northern Ireland.
It's their second walking challenge. The key aim of this one is to get suicide prevention onto the national curriculum. Mike, Andy and Tim came together after their daughters took their own lives. This is what the former James Bond, who's from Chester of course, said to them.
Andy, Mike, Tim, just incredible. What you achieved last time around and what you're about to do now is just truly, truly heroic. I'm sending you love and my best wishes. Shout loudly. I know you'll be heard. All my very best. Good luck.
What a great message, and we'll be speaking to all three dads after this report from our correspondent Mel Barham, who's been with them on their journey.
My dad's world was torn in two, no words can hold the pain he knew, but there was one thing he could do, so my dad's walking on. My dad speaks of all his pain, so other dads might do the same. My dad will not be ashamed, my dad's walking on.
Through countryside green and quiet, through cities bustling and loud, these three bereaved dads are back walking.
Even though people have said we'd made a difference, we realised that there was still a job to do. And one of the things that really became clear after meeting so many bereaved parents was that our young people aren't really equipped with the life skills that it takes to keep themselves safe later in life.
All three dads lost their daughters to suicide, and last year, in Beth, Sophie and Emily's memory, they raised almost £1 million for the suicide prevention charity Papyrus. This time, they're walking to all four UK parliaments in a bid to get suicide prevention onto the school curriculum. But it's not quite been the start they were planning. The night before they set off came the news of the Queen's death, but they felt it important to continue.
If we'd not walked, it would be another year till we could pull it all together again. And in that time, loads more young people would have died. So we couldn't not do it. But we just had to be mindful about how we did it and show relevant respect. Keep our flags furled, black armbands.
3, 2, 1.
So they began walking almost 2 weeks ago, starting in Belfast before flying to Edinburgh. And by Monday, they'd reached Lancaster, where we joined them.
So this thing's the tracker. Allows them to come intercept us, which has been happening every day since we've been walking. So, follow the bouncing ball and come find us. It's like having your own farrier.
But amidst the laughter, grief is never far away.
A couple of suicide-bereaved parents started today who lost their son 10 years ago.
And still feeling the pain 10 years later, you know, a mum there who was just in pieces 10 years later, and that's the impact of suicide.
My dad's holding all the while.
People tell us tales like that and we realise why we are still walking. It just shows you it's happening all the time.
My dad's walking on. Three birds sing.
Bethy, Emily and Sophie had wonderful lives to live. They had not finished. We think about them all the time, but the thing is, when we do walk, we hear someone else's story. We almost put our grief just to one side a bit, and we listen to someone else.
We will cry and cry like mad.
And along the route, they very rarely walk alone. Today, another bereaved father is joining them. Martin lost his daughter Tilly last year.
She'd light any room up. She'd come in there, big beaming smile. The smile would be from ear to ear, and was always happy, or seemed it.
Just 3 weeks after her death, Martin joined the three dads for part of last year's walk. Now he's joining them again.
Really enjoyed talking to them again. It refreshes your memory of what they've been through and how we've moved on 12 months. Still a great black hole there, but it has helped talking to them as friends now.
Yeah, well, that's another one down. Was that day 11?
We've actually got 3 weeks. We've still got 3 weeks of this.
3 weeks of walking.
And so we'll rattle a few cages, we'll get people talking.
It's really humbling to know we've saved some lives. I mean, it's made us cry several times.
Yes, yeah.
And so, yeah, talking about it and raising money for Papyrus is absolutely essential.
And with just over 20 miles more in the can, it's time for a well-earned rest before they do it all again in the morning.
Instagram Live. I've still not got my head round it.
No, neither have I.
We can tell.
Line up.
Oh, now that.
Morning.
Morning.
We're back in Broughton, ready to go again.
Here we go again.
How are you feeling?
Beautiful night's sleep, yeah. Well looked after again. We know we'll meet people on the way today. We'll know we'll get support, and meeting those people helps us through the miles.
And I see you're walking and walking and walking, and you're not even cold, are you?
Well, we'll be in a minute.
And every step of their way, that is what is happening. And with flags now unfurled, day 12 takes them in, then out of Preston and on to Wigan. And despite the rain, even more people wanting to walk with them.
Seeing the guys being interviewed, and I just thought I need to go and meet them and have a walk with them for a while.
I lost my friend to suicide. What the 3 dads are doing with the call for putting the word suicide in the curriculum specifically is something I just wanted to back.
3 dads walking.
We are still 3 ordinary dads. You know, we're heartbroken dads as well. We aren't doing this for any kind of recognition. We're doing it for a reason, and we absolutely believe in that reason. We do believe a lot of these suicides can be avoided.
Dads walking on.
Well, those 3 dads are with us now. It's meant to be a rest day for them today, but here they are in the studio. Thanks for coming in, gents.
You're welcome.
Andy, how are you doing?
Good, yeah. It is nice to have quite a day off, isn't it? Not walk anywhere. Yeah. Been a busy day around the city, though, doing media rounds and a Suicide Bereavement UK conference this afternoon. So we have been hectic, but not walking.
You are getting your message across, and then to hear from Daniel Craig, was that a surprise?
Absolutely amazing. When he donated last year, I was sitting on the train station at Preston when I found out. And then to hear unexpectedly this year that he is fully backing it, it's just humbling to hear that our message is getting that far around the globe, really. Yeah.
Mike, we heard from your wife Helen on the programme last night, an incredibly moving interview, and she described the utter torment for families left behind and the what-ifs. What are the key messages that you want to get over during this walk?
I was so proud of Helen doing the piece last night. The key messages are there is hope, that there's always hope. And the messages are really reach out to Papyrus Hope Lines 1, but reach out, talk to people, keep talking.
And Andy, we've saw in Mel's report people who are in a similar situation to you talking about their loss as well, but starting those conversations must be incredibly difficult.
Well, actually, for us, it's not, because we've created this kind of weird, safe space that people seem happy to come and join us. Well, they are happy to come and join us and share some really tragic tales and stories. But that's one of the things that's kept us going, because on last year's walk, we just kept hearing the same stories where people had lost their children to suicide. It was only after the child had died they discovered suicide's the biggest killer under 35s, and the question they asked was, why didn't anybody tell us? So that's the question we're asking, isn't it? Why didn't anybody tell us?
Yeah, and Tim, as Andy just said there, it is the biggest killer of people under 35. So why isn't it on the curriculum already?
That's a good question, and that's a really good question, and that's what we'll keep asking, because the curriculum addresses so many other risks to our children, our young people, but it doesn't address the biggest risk. At the moment, suicide isn't mentioned on the school curriculum at all. Mental health is, but it never goes as far as that. And if that's the biggest risk to our young people, let's give them the tools to deal with it. There's plenty of material out there. The tragedy is that charities like Papyrus often get called into schools after a suicide, not before. So let's be proactive rather than being reactive. And we're not trying to burden the teachers with extra stuff. It's about signposting. We've had loads of people on the walk, and since we walked last year, come to us in a bit of a state, in a suicidal state. we point them, we signpost them to the right place. We're not suicide prevention professionals, we're just three dads, and that's all we're saying.
And you're talking to teachers, people are telling you that they want to talk about this and they're equipped because they're dealing with young people all the time, and we know there is a mental health crisis in schools because of COVID. So, you know, this walk really does matter and is making a difference.
It's a logical process, isn't it? Let's start at the beginning. Let's equip our young people, even through early years, primary school, secondary school, into higher education. Age appropriate, of course, there is ways to do it, you know, but equip and arm our young people, you know, with these life skills they need. And when they become adults and mothers and fathers themselves, they will have some knowledge and awareness, as I say, to look after not only themselves, but others. It makes sense.
From what we've seen in Mel's report there and the various times you've been on this programme, you guys now have a very special, what looks like an unbreakable bond. Would that be fair?
Who's going to comment on that?
Depends if we're sharing a room and he's snoring.
I do have a room to myself most nights. It's fantastic.
No, the bond with these two guys, we've been through some really dark times, especially Mike and I. We met within 3 weeks of Beth and 4 weeks of Emily dying, and we've been in some very dark places together. And again, that peer support that we've got, and we've now got through someone who's that little bit ahead of us, is invaluable to all three of us.
And you're walking again tomorrow. Where are you starting?
We're at Grimsditch
Hall, just south of Warrington, and we're going into Bulkley in Cheshire. So watch the tracker on the website. If anyone wants to come out and say hello, it'd be great to see you.
Absolutely. Gents, thank you so much for coming in to see us, and the very, very best of luck with the remainder of your walk.
Thank you. Thank you.
And there's lots more information about the Three Dads Walking and the suicide prevention charity Papyrus, who do an amazing job, on our website, itv.com/Granada.
We're next to the government's youth